At one point I was going to school full-time, taking full-time classes, trying to finish my undergraduate thesis and working 3 jobs. And all of those jobs were on McGill campus.
I just felt like because I had to take care of basic needs and I had to search for ways to make money elsewhere, my focus was definitely not there, and I didn't feel like I could commit fully to my pursuits as a student.
I would say that as a student, I was working for under $15 an hour for 3 years, and it would have been much easier for me to both complete my student work and to be more responsible for the job that I had.
Working for minimum wage or just slightly above minimum wage, meant that I was able to just barely make my rent, but I relied on food banks, I relied on friends and clothing swaps, and then I was always, one even just minor crisis away from, not being able to pay my rent and being completely destitute.
As a TA, I saw people suffer literally in my classes. They were scrambling to make ends meet all the time when they had to study a lot.
Resources devoted to mental health and resources devoted to supporting students in our community, those would not be as much in demand if we could ensure that our students weren't struggling financially.
I think that there's a connection there with the kinds of labor that we value, in that a lot of the jobs that I find myself in are jobs performing quite a bit of emotional labor, where those jobs are then underpaid because we don't value those kinds of labor and are disproportionately made up of women and of people of color who have historically performed that labor in other contexts as well.
People talk pretty openly about the professionalization of academic life today, the work-work balance that people have to strike for themselves. I feel like people are working much more than they did even 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, but there hasn't been a corresponding increase in income.
When one professor wanted to give a good raise to a research assistant, McGill would block them, literally tell them they couldn't do that, even though it was their money with their grant and they wanted to pay their worker an honest wage, right? McGill knew that to keep everybody's wages down was beneficial to the university in general, right? To produce more work for less money. Professors still get their wage, they find money for that. They find raises for the administration, they find raises for managers, they find extraordinary amount of money for the principal, right? For her pension plan, they find money when they need to.
Raising the minimum wage for some people represents a huge increase and can drastically improve their quality of life. If you're a student, it can drastically increase the amount of time and effort and energy that you have to devote to your studies, and you're going to get more out of your university experience overall.
I think that people are just more burned out and tired when they don't get $15 an hour, and they're made to feel like they're worth less when they earn less, even if they're worth more.
It's pretty straightforward. The money is there. The reasons behind austerity and casualization are purely ideological.
I'm fighting for 15 and fair at McGill University.